Well, good Sunday morning, y'all. Hope you're having a great day. Well, I'm excited because we finally get to do that Q&A video that I've been wanting to do forever. Y'all had so many great questions last Sunday. I can't wait to answer them all for you. I thought we'd do this big play Cashword because they take a long time to scratch, and that should give me plenty of time to answer most of your questions. I am going to answer the first question before we scratch off this video with a visual because it is the number one question that I get asked most often, and that is, what is the most I've ever won on a scratch off? And that is $500. Y'all remember the Funky Fives? Well, I've hit 4 $500 winners last year. I've only been playing scratch-offs for a little over 2 years, and so that's the biggest hit we've had. I've been trying to get into that $1,000 club or higher, but just haven't found one yet. And we actually hit these back-to-back weekends. We hit this manual win-all on the Funky Fives for 500. That was amazing. And then that very next weekend, I went to a Valero store and bought the last 20 in a pack. Just had a feeling about it. And on the third ticket in, we finally found the Funky Five and a matching 3 for another $500. I keep my big winners just as mementos so I can go back and look at them and just remember the fun times we had scratching them off. So those are the two biggest wins and my favorite ticket, by the way, Funky Fives. All right, so let's scratch off this big play Cashword and we'll start answering all your questions. I got ticket number 38 and I picked this up from a Conoco station. All right, so let's get started here. All right, let's get to the questions. First question, what part of Texas are you in? All right, without being very specific as to where I live, let's say I live within a 25-mile radius of the Fort Worth area. So when I go to buy tickets, I go to Fort Worth, Arlington, Hershey, Bedford, Waxahachie, Midlothian, that general area. That's where I usually buy tickets, so that's where I live at. And next question is, have you had any other unusual pets? You may not believe this, but I have a 40-year-old red-eared slider turtle. And you wonder how I know he's 40 years old? Because I've had him for 40 years. I got him on a farm 40 years ago when I was 8 years old one summer. I was staying out on a farm, and the rancher there had let his chickens out that evening to get some water from the pond, and one of the chickens came back with his turtle. I guess he was going to eat him or play with him, I didn't know. Apparently maybe just born. So the farmer took the turtle, put it in the bottom of a Dixie cup, so he was about the size of a quarter, and asked me if I wanted a turtle. Asked my parents, and they said, sure, you can have a turtle. I don't think they expected him to live that long, but I've had him for 40 years. They live 50 plus years. And so he's been a great pet. I mean, they only grow about as big as their environment. He lives in a 40-gallon aquarium. I'll put a picture up on the screen here so you can see him. But a great pet. And so, I mean, I've had him most of my life. He's seen me since I've been growing up. It's really unusual to have a pet for 40 years, so I may have him for another 20 years. Who knows? All right, next question. Why did you start your channel? That's a great question. I've had to ask myself that, and I really had to think about it. And I think I started the channel because my family's not very excited about gambling or about lottery scratch-offs. And when you win big, you want to share it with somebody. And what better way to share it than on YouTube? You know, if you get a big, nice win, it's fun to share with 1,000 other people or 2,000 other people, and they're excited with you. Because I don't know about you, when I started playing scratch-offs about 2.5 years ago, I started watching Richard Kelly and Twinson and Texan Candy and Chompy and Stompy and those YouTubers, and I got excited when they won. And I thought, well, they're excited, they'll be excited for me, and so I started doing scratch-offs, and it was just fun to share your wins with other people and get to know people. It was that enjoyed the same type of entertainment that you do. All right, and next question, will you ever face reveal for us? Well, I kind of thought that might be one of your questions, which is one reason I did the face reveal last Monday. Don't usually get an opportunity because of how I have my video equipment set up to do a face reveal when I do scratch off. So I thought I would do it last Monday on Match Monday. So yep, that's when I did the face reveal. All right, next question. Jeremy asked, when did you really get started interested in playing the lottery? More importantly, do you remember the first scratch-off game you played and what it was? And I absolutely do. See, it was 2000, about 17 years, yeah, year 2000. My wife and I had taken our 2 small children to SeaWorld for a day of fun. And we didn't have much money, so we couldn't even afford to buy a hotel to spend the night. So we left really early that morning to go down there and spend the day. Only had about $20 or $40 to spend on food and fun, which wasn't a lot of money, but we wanted to give them a fun day at SeaWorld. So we were driving up to SeaWorld, about to go into the entrance, but I decided I better get some gas for the car. So I went into the gas station to get gas, and they had lottery tickets. And I thought, well, you know, it might be fun to invest $4 and get every one of us $1 scratch off. And I went back into the Texas Lottery website and they list all the old tickets. And I believe I found the one that I played. It was called Beat the Heat. And basically, I think you had to match 3 sons or get 3 matching sons or something like that. Well, my son and daughter lost on theirs, my wife lost on hers, and I matched mine and won $100 the very first time I ever played. That's how they get you, I guess. But couldn't believe it. I didn't realize how much how big of a win that was at the time, and I didn't even know what to do with it. So I took it back inside of the cashier and go, what am I supposed to do with this? What do I do? And he goes, here's $100, and just blew me away. And so we went in that day, spent the whole $100 on the family, and just had a great time at SeaWorld. All right, and then when did I get interested in playing the lottery? Well, I didn't play for about 15 years after that. Just never did. My father-in-law would give us some lottery tickets for Christmas, and that's about it. But about 2.5 years ago, a friend of mine, one weekend after Starbucks, he goes, hey, don't forget to play Powerball tonight. And I go, Powerball? I never play Powerball. And he goes, well, no, it's really big and you should play it. And I said, okay. So I went and I spent $5 on Powerball, and I won that evening. I won $100. And that was before the multipliers or the power play. Where I'd have won a lot more than that, but I won $100. Couldn't believe it. It's like, whoa, this is way too easy. And I lost quite a bit of money in the stock market at that time. I was playing a little bit on the stocks, and I'm like going, maybe I could do better actually buying lottery tickets. And so I really like odds and statistics, and so and if you've seen some videos before, I do a lot of spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, and trying to buy the best tickets, and actually kind of did it as an investment and fun, of course, and we just doing pretty well, and so I enjoyed doing it, so I wanted to share it on the channel, and so that's kind of how I got interested in playing the lottery. I think they always get you. They give you that one big win the very first time, and then they slowly take it back. But that's how I actually got interested in playing the lottery about 2.5 years ago. All right, next question. Have you ever gone to Lone Star Park to bet on the ponies? Absolutely. Well, not too many times. I've gone a couple of times. My wife and I like to go to the box and eat the food more than to bet, but we'll take $100 $1 bills, we'll do $2 bets, and just have a blast. I most like going to the Greyhound races, although I've not gone in several years. Down in Galveston, they have one called Gulf Greyhound. Fun to watch the Greyhounds go around the track, and one of the very first times I ever played on the Greyhounds, I won $483 on a trifecta, and those were a lot of fun. If it was closer, I'd probably go to Greyhounds more than Lone Star Park. All right, next question is, how long have I been married and how many kids do I have? Well, I've been married for 29 years. Got married in 1988. I was very young. Met my wife in high school when I was 16 years old, and I got married to her when I was 19, and she was about to turn 21. And so she's about a year and a half older than I am, so we've been married 29 years this year, and we have 2 children, a boy and a girl. And then I was asked, I said, you and your wife have your own business and work together. What is it that you do? Well, we've been in the heating and ventilation air conditioning business for about 19 years. We basically are a supplier for air filters to commercial and residential. We mostly deal with special sizes and custom-made sizes, real high-end filters for HEPA filtration systems, hospitals, government. We've been doing this for quite a while, and we get to work together every day. And most couples can't work together, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We love working together, and we're together 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Wouldn't have it any other way. All right, and then next question was, have I ever met Texan Candy or AR? I actually have never met any of the YouTubers out there. Hopefully someday we'll all get a chance to get together, but I've never actually met any of them in person. I always thought it might be fun to kind of do a meet and greet at a casino or something and get together and just share our stories, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. But no, I've never met any one of them in person so far. All right, so next question, how did you come up with the name for the channel? And besides Texas, what states do you like to get scratch-offs from? Well, I would say the 2 states that I like to get scratch-offs from are from Kentucky and Illinois. I think they've got 2 really great scratch-offs tickets there, and those are a lot of fun to play. Now, how did I come up with the name for the channel? Well, I was really trying to come up with something that was really Texan. And I'm always saying, fixing to do something, fixing to do this, fixing to do that. And my wife and I were talking, I said, well, I'm fixing to scratch these tickets. She goes, well, that's it. Name it Fixin To Scratch. I said, that's a great name. So it really just identified Texas scratch-offs with the channel name Fixin To Scratch. So that's how I came up with the channel name. All right, next question. If you could have your dream vacation, where would it be and why? When I was a teenager, I went to Alaska with my grandparents. We drove up to Alaska, and Alaska is just the great unknown country. There's so much vast wilderness that nobody's ever seen, and when we went out there, the fishing and the hiking was just so beautiful. I think I'd like to go on a dream vacation and actually stay there for a month in the woods. Now, my wife wouldn't probably like that, but I think it'd be a lot of fun just to stay out there in the wilderness for a month, away from everybody, away from every piece of technology, every cell phone, everything electronic, and just live out in the woods for a month. That would be my dream vacation. All right, the next one's kind of funny because what does your wife think about you making YouTube videos, and when did you graduate high school? Okay, I'll answer the date question first. Graduated high school in 1987, got married in 1988. Had our first child in 1991, graduated college in 92, and had our second child in 1993. Now, what does your wife think about you making YouTube videos? I would say for the most part, she is super supportive, loves to watch the videos, also, of course, loves Watson being in the videos, and she just really enjoys going along with me when I go on these hunts for these different type of tickets. The only time it gets annoying is when I have to do the video editing or the voiceover work, because that can be very time consuming, and I live in an area where our internet connection is not that great, so I upload my videos. I try to do a lot of my videos on the weekend and then spread them out throughout the week because my upload time is so slow. It takes me about 4 hours to upload one video, and I usually have to get up multiple times during the middle of the night to make sure the video is uploading or publish or do something related to the video. So the only thing she doesn't like is when I have to stay up very late at night doing the editing and when she's trying to get some sleep. So for that part, for the most part though, she's very supportive, and we just have a lot of fun doing this channel together. All right, next question is really interesting. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grow up? Well, I wanted to be, when I was little, a pediatrician. And actually, when I graduated high school, when I went to college, I signed up as pre-med. And I did that for 1 year, and then I had to drop out of the pre-med program because when I got into biology, I was doing the microscope test and all the lab tests, and they would dye certain cells, violet colors and blue colors. And when we were going through the lab test, I remember taking my very first lab test, and I couldn't identify anything. I just didn't know if I wasn't looking at the right thing or what everybody else was looking at. And I came to find out that I'm colorblind. I'm colorblind between blues and purples and reds and greens, and therefore I could not be in the program when I couldn't identify anything on the lab work. And at that time, they made no allowances for people with color blindness, and so I dropped out of the program and went into business. And I actually like doing business a lot better, so that's probably the best road for me. But that's the reason I got out of being in pre-med. All right, and our last question is, would you ever consider doing daily vlogging? If I won the lottery today and could retire, absolutely, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think that would be a blast to do, but unfortunately, there's just not enough time in today to do it. But, maybe in the future, you just never know. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for all the great questions. This was a lot of fun. We're definitely going to do it again. All right, so let me check over this ticket and make sure we didn't miss anything, and then I'll be right back. Well, it looks like no win today on the big play cash word. We just matched a couple of words back here, owl and oval, and on the front we just matched all and two. And apparently they were unwilling to give us a prize today, and we matched no bonus prize words. But that's okay. I had a blast doing the Q&A with y'all today. I hope that y'all learned a little bit more about me. We'll probably do it again some other time. Y'all have a great lucky rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk to you later.